You are on the record.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. The time is 9 a.m. The Board of Ada County Commissioners is in session for our open business meeting, and Luke wants me to pause. Okay, so
the record.
Let's go ahead and start, and we don't have to live stream, and then Luke, you can continue to just work with it as we go through the meeting, and hopefully at some point we'll get up and we'll be live streaming. But right now we're clerked and we're recorded, so we'll go ahead and start. And first we're going to start with changes to the agenda.
So no, they're not.
All right then, and we're going to start with our employee recognition. Yay, 30 years of service. Wow. Deborah, Sarah Duke, how exciting. Commissioner Laciando, you want to go ahead and read the recognition that was written?
Sure do, thank you. So Debbie Sarandis started in Ada County in 1990, and has been with the same department her entire career. She has seen so much change from Ada County Community Service to Ada County Welfare to what it is now, Indigent Services. Debbie has had several positions, including Administrative Secretary, Office Manager, and was currently the Office Administrator for Indigent Services. There have been 10 directors and numerous team members she has seen come and go, all the while being a staple in the office. Debbie is a history buff that loves to share her knowledge, and she helps keep her office on track. It wouldn't be the same without her. And I'm sure that Katie and Trent and Phil, potentially, I see him on here too, would have some additional things to say to that.
Exactly. Who would like to start?
Madam Chair, if I might, hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
So just to highlight too, here I am at the state capitol. We're about to have a hearing on one of our election bills, but I wanted to make sure to take the opportunity to thank Debbie for all her work. I don't think even the introduction, when you think of 10 directors along that time, and me being just one of the many people she's had the opportunity to help care for and take care of, I think she has done so much for the office. She really bends over backwards to take care of the folks that she works with, whether that's Katie, Siobhan, Jesse, John, the list goes on in terms of people that she's worked with. I think she really cares about Indigent Services. I know she cares about those directors. I think you'll hear multiple statements in terms of how much she has done to empower people in that role and to really kind of make sure Indigent goes smoothly and be a stable force for the office and for the county. I think so many people have been served during her tenure that it really speaks to all the work that she has done and her dedication to the county. So Debbie, thank you so much. 30 years is an impressive feat. So we just appreciate having her for as much more time as we can. So thank you. And I'll pass it off to Katie, I think, from here.
Is Katie there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. They're not showing
Okay, I'm
up.
here with Trent. I'm wearing my mask. Thank you, Debbie, for everything that you've done for the county, and especially for me. It would have been so much more difficult to come into the county without you. You made that transition really smooth, and just to echo the comments on being a history book, if I need to know about what happened in the past or anything like that, I know I can go to Debbie and she'll know her. So I just appreciate you so much. You've taken care of me in that. And yeah, congratulations on 30 years.
Is Trent there? Hi, Trent.
I'll just say quickly, breath of fresh air every time I talk to Debbie. She makes days great, and I appreciate that and all that she's done for the last 30 years. So keep it up, Debbie. Appreciate you.
All right, Siobhan?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Debbie, we love you, we love you, we love you. You have done so much for our office, especially during all of these really tough transitions. I know that I've gotten several emails from employees, directors, past, present, just wanting to pass along their well wishes for you. And I also spoke with Erin, and she wanted me to let you know how much she loves you and how proud she is of you. And just wanted to really celebrate you today. I know you don't like the limelight, right? But we just really wanted to celebrate you today. So thanks so much for all you've done.
Thanks, Siobhan. Debbie, I don't think anyone has received 3 I love yous. Maybe someone's gotten 1, but not 3 in a row. Debbie, is there anything you'd like to say? 30 years in Ada County, I'm sure you have some words of wisdom. No? Is she on here? Okay, well, it's recorded, so we can play it back to her. Thank you so much for your 30 years. We really appreciate it. All right, moving on. Thanks, everyone. All right, next we have volunteer board appointments, and we have 5 appointments, and I'll start off with Commissioner Malloy. You and Diana did some interviews on these appointments, and I think we're really excited. We've found some great people. Would you like to speak to these 5 appointments, and then Commissioner maybe Laciando can make the motion and say a few words as well.
I think we have a good mix of both geographic area. We've got, some men and women both on here for different perspectives. We've got a lot of good, there's some with financial background, some with development background, real estate background. So we really have a good overall blend of the talents we need to be able to analyze this process and I think come to good conclusions and realize the impact on residents, developers, realtors, everybody. So I think it is a very good board and a committee, and I think they will do very well.
Thank you, Patrick. Make sure if you're not speaking, if you mute your microphones, please, we're getting some feedback. Thank you. Commissioner Laciando.
Yeah, I'll just echo Commissioner Malloy. Our ordinance and state statute, we're required to have certain kind of expertise on that advisory committee, but Commissioner Malloy and I, as we're going through the process, wanted to make sure we had a good geographic representation as well, and I think we've achieved that. I want to give thanks to Jason for helping to facilitate that process as well. Yes, I would be happy to make a motion if you're ready for me.
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Jason, for your help.
All right, Madam Chair, I move to approve the 5 volunteer board appointments as listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, the ayes have it. Motion carries. I think we got one extra aye in there. All right, I'll need a motion to remove the unfinished business from the table.
Madam Chair, I move to remove the unfinished business from the table for consideration.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, the ayes have it. Motion carries. So our first business of unfinished business is procurement, and I think it's a final ranking and request to enter fee negotiations, RFQ 20069. Bob Perkins, are you with us?
Can you hear me okay?
We can. Yeah, can you speak up a little bit? Maybe get a little closer to your mic. Just the volume.
Okay, how's that?
That's better, thank you.
Commissioners, the evaluation team for RFQ 20022, the commission agent for Ada County Gel E-Pod expansion project, has completed the evaluations and the due diligence, and would like to submit the final rankings letter for your consideration.
Okay, and this is on RFQ 20069, correct?
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry.
That's okay, for the record, just a correction, that's fine.
So that is RFQ 20069.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I have a letter here dated August 25th, 2020, to the Board of Ada County Commissioners from Ada County Procurement regarding RFQ 20069. Dear members of the Board, the Evaluation Committee has evaluated the responses for RFQ 20069. A short list of qualified candidates was determined by evaluation scoring. The short list of qualified firms ranked in order of evaluation scoring is as follows. Number 1, Northwest Engineering Services Incorporated with a score of 83.67. Number 2, Ruma and Associates with a score of 71.00. Number 3, Griffith Engineering Incorporated with a score of 68.00. And number 4, Levy Engineering and Building Commissioning LLC, with a score of 67.33. The Evaluation Committee would like to request the board's approval of the final rankings list and permission to enter into fee negotiations beginning with the number one ranked firm. If negotiations are successful, the Operations Department will put back on the board's agenda for contract award consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone on from the Sheriff's Department that would like to comment? No? Open it up for commissioners. Commissioners, a motion or questions or comments?
If Commissioner Lachianda has no questions, I'm ready to make the motion.
Okay, thumbs up.
Okay. I move to accept the final rankings for RFQ 20069, commissioning agent for the Ada County Jail EPOD expansion project, and authorize the Operations Department to enter into negotiations, starting with the number one ranked firm, which was Northwest Engineering Services.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, thank you. Next, we're going to take up new business, and I'm going to open the public hearing on Resolution 2545, and I'll turn it back over to you, Bob.
Madam Chair, this is a resolution, I believe, for social procurement for Hart InterCivic. It's the elections equipment for the clerk's office. And I believe it's for the maintenance contract for that equipment.
Okay. Anyone here to provide testimony or public comments? Hearing none, I'll open it up to close the public hearing. Open it up for the board for discussion or motion.
Madam Chair, I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I guess it's this, or we have Phil take care of this by hand, so I have no problem.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2545 as presented.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor state aye. Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. All right, next up, Bob, resolution 2546.
Madam Chair, I'm not familiar with this. This looks to be something for the juvenile.
Oh, this is. Yeah. All right, so we'll move on with Resolution 2546. So this is adjusting Ada County budget to reflect the receipt of unscheduled revenue from Juvenile Court Services Department. Do we have Don Burns, anyone from Juvenile on that would like to make comment on this? Nope.
My only comment would be how grateful we are for the opportunity to be reimbursed for some of the expenses for PPE and other related COVID expenses. So thank you very much for this.
Great. All right, any comments or questions from the board? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close public hearing. Yeah, motion from the board.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Resolution 2546 as listed on the agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Next up, operations. It looks like we have a change order. Ada County Courthouse heating boiler repair 2020. This is agreement number 13792, a decrease of $8,200. Do we have Bruce or Jess with us that would like to make any comments on this?
Yes, Madam Chair, Commissioners, this is a reduction in C items that were not needed for the boiler project. Happy to report that it came in under what we expected it to.
Well, in these COVID times, that is good news. Usually things are coming in quite much higher than what we anticipated. All right. Great. Thank you. Any questions for Bruce from the board? No? Okay. I'll need a motion then.
Madam Chair, I move to approve change order number 1, Ada County Courthouse heater boiler repair 2020 as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, licenses. I'll have Commissioner Lachianda make this motion since one of the new licenses is the Basque Museum and Cultural Center. Woohoo!
Ooh, there you go. hopefully we'll be able to have Wine Fest next year. Okay. Madam Chair, I move to approve and ratify the licenses as listed on the agenda, including one new license, one license transfer, and one license renewal, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, clerk's office. Is Phil still with us, or Katie?
Phil is not. This is Trent.
Hey, Trent.
Just a quick update. We're out here at elections, working through the West Ada school election. So that's where our attentions are right now. Phil obviously tuned in from the courthouse. He's working feverishly to try to get some bills through the special session to alleviate some of our stress that we're anticipating in November for the election. So that's what's on our mind, and that's our update for today.
Great, thank you. And I didn't see Debbie when we read the recognition. Was she on? Was she able to hear us?
I think she was on. I think maybe she had trouble unmuting her microphone, but I did see her on there.
Oh, great. Okay, super. Any questions for the clerk's office? Okay, let's move on to claims journal. I need a motion.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Lachiando.
Authorize payment of claims on the claims journal dated August 21st, 2020.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Commissioner Malloy, care to make a motion on the personal action forms as well?
This is, let me make sure this is the right one. There is one in there that I still have questions on.
Okay.
That due to my schedule, I haven't been able to. I'm not going to oppose, but I'm going to abstain on this for the moment.
Okay. Commissioner Lachiando, have you read the personnel action forms, 5 leaves with pay? You ready to make a motion?
Yes, thank you. Madam Chair, I move to approve the personal action forms as listed on the agenda, including 5 leaves with pay, and that the summary sheet is no file.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay.
And actually, I will be an aye on this. This is not the personal action forms I thought it was, so I'm an aye on this as well.
Okay, all those in favor state aye then again. So we've got aye, and I'll state aye. All right, motion carries. Let's go ahead with the assessor's office report.
Madam President, Commissioner.
Good morning, Bob.
Malloy. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good.
Just have something about Board of Tax Appeals. The last date to file the appeal was Friday. As of yesterday, we have 47 appeals, which is a little bit less than we had last year. Surprisingly, we only had 2 appeals from the River Run. So I think you all did a good job in the hearings with that. Everyone well accepted that. I just wanted to point out something probably for Commissioner Malloy's edification, and that is, even though we have scheduled 47 hearings, a lot of those we will be able to negotiate ahead of time. So we might have half that or even fewer. Also, when we do arrive at a value that the appellant, before we enter an agreement with the appellant, is what we will do is we will send over to the commissioners our facts upon an additional review and our suggested change in value. Once we hear back from the commissioners that that is acceptable to you, because in essence that really is your value, we then contact the appellant and offer a settlement. Madam Chairman, I would be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I always wave when I drive by your office in the morning if you're in, but you never turn around and see me. So just know I'm waving every morning, saying hi.
Brad thinks you're waving at him.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on. What's that?
I always try to convince him you're waving at me, not him.
Yeah, I am. I'm waving at you. All right, let's move on to the treasurer's office. I think I saw Beth up there somewhere. There you go.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Morning.
No specific quick an update. I did mention last week that we are live on our new online payment portal. So that's been live about a week now, and no steps there. It's been really smooth. So we're glad we were able to roll it out now while our transaction block is slow, so that is fully tested before we send the bills in November. Otherwise, we do have a hearing before you tomorrow. That's regarding 2016 taxes. So we look forward to seeing you then. And that's it from the Treasurer's Office.
Okay. Any questions for Beth or any questions about the tax deed hearing tomorrow? For the record, Elizabeth, you want to just go ahead and for the public, let them know what the tax deed hearing is for?
Absolutely, Madam Chair. This is for 2016 taxes that are delinquent. So again, those are taxes that were due back on December 20th of 2016. And this is a prescribed process. It's all outlined under Idaho law. The steps that the tax collector must take if a property tax is delinquent, and the step that the board must take if the tax collector has satisfied those requirements. Again, statutory process. We are down to very few parcels. It's fewer than 10. I think 7 or 8 are scheduled for hearing.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. Any questions? Pat? Okay, we'll go ahead then and move on to approval of minutes. Commissioner Lachiondo, you want to make that motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes as identified on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, grants. We have grant number 2008B. This is a grant award agreement from Public Defense Commission for the Indigent Defense Financial Assistance. This is up to $1,040,000, and the grant period is 10/1/20 to September 30th, 21. Is Tony with us? Is Tony Geddes with us? Nope. Okay. So this is a grant that comes in once a year. So if we're ready to make a motion, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion on this one.
Sure. Madam Chair, I move to approve grant number 2008-B as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, weed and pest. Commissioner Malloy, care to make the motion?
Sure. Madam Chair, I move to approve 2 notices of lien and 1 release of lien for weed and pest as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, Expo Idaho. Commissioner Lachiondo. You can pronounce quinceanera better than all of us, so you want to go ahead and make the motion on this one that's coming up in 21?
Sure. And I will say I'm excited to see 2021 events on here and feeling hopeful we'll have lots of events in 2021. Madam Chair, I move to approve the one in the event agreement as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next, we have 14. On 14, we have how many agreements here? 28 agreements in all. And as we look through the
Madam Chair.
agreements,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
we still have Barber Park to take care of.
Right. Oh, we do. Okay,
Would you
Parks
like
and
me-
Waterways.
would
Sorry,
you like
I'll
me to
take a
make
motion on
that
Parks and
motion?
Waterways.
Sure. Looks like this is a Bora High reunion for next summer, and I will move to approve the one Barber Park Education and Event Center agreement as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to agreements. We have 28 agreements, and I think we'll start off with discussion on agreement number 13857, an agreement between Ada County and Barber Pool Hydro LLC for the purchase and sale of Barber Dam. You want to kick this off, Commissioner Malloy? One second, Commissioner. Lorna's going to say something
Sure.
here.
Apparently, it's people are having difficulty hearing people speaking on WebEx. So if people who are speaking could get close to the mic.
Okay.
So that we really have a good recording of this meeting.
Okay. All right, so Lorna asked us to speak very clearly, slowly, close to the mic so we can have a good recording. It sounds like there's some noise and some background problems with picking people up. So we'll go ahead. Commissioner Beloy, do you want Commissioner Lachiondo to start the discussion on this?
No, I'm happy to kick this off since this was the first thing that kind of came to my attention when I was dropped in the midst of everything, that the county owned a dam. Um, and the county was trying to sell a dam and that we had it up for auction. And then we had a pandemic and then nobody could come to the auction, even though we had a couple people sign up for the auction. And so then we moved to the next statutory opportunity is to sell this privately. And so the county wants to get rid of its dam. And the county has finally, I believe, located somebody that can adequately operate this dam for the good of the upstream Barber Pool and the good of the downstream irrigation needs. This individual specifically on the dam and this group of individuals, this is not a new thing for the one that is operating the dam, and there are other private dams that he operates effectively. So I think this is a good move. I think that given the current condition of the dam, that the monetary consideration is adequate and that there are good safeguards in there that he needs to get the federal government to sign off on his operation of this with the Federal Regulatory Energy Commission. So his FERC needs to happen, and I think it's an appropriate decision.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lachiondo?
Thank you. Well, and I'll get closer to my mic here. It's sort of timely that we were discussing the tax deed hearings that we're taking up tomorrow because the dam going into tax deed is how Ada County ended up with a dam in the first place. As we've noted on several occasions, running a dam is not a part of our mandated statutory obligations as a county. It's something we sort of fell into. And over the years, various efforts have been made to ensure that the dam is safe. But as we look forward, this is a great opportunity for an entity that hits two key marks for me, certainly. They know how to operate a dam. They have the financial wherewithal to operate a dam so that taxpayers don't have to. And then very, very importantly, they are local. They're concerned about our community and they're concerned about preserving the integrity of the Barber Pool riparian area. So that's really a great combination, and I'm really excited that this is where we've landed.
Thank you. Before I take a motion, I just want to reiterate, we did hold an auction back in December, was it January? It was this winter. Actually, I think it was March because it was right when COVID hit. But we actually did hold the auction. It was on the front steps of the courthouse, and folks could socially distance, and we provided masks, but no one showed up to bid, and we had a minimum bid of $1 million on that auction. It is important to note that this is as is, which is really favorable. It is a very old dam, as was noted by commissioners, and so they have to still go through the FERC approval. But with that, I think we're really pleased that it's a local company that is they have expertise in engineering and then also really interested in the environment and conservation efforts around that whole area, which is now becoming a large conservation parcel. So we're excited about this. And with that, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
Actually, Madam Chair, before we motion all of these, can we also discuss 13-845? That's the agreement between the county and the Eagle Senior Citizen Center.
Go ahead.
To me, this again, I love charities, but I have a hard time with charity at the expense of the taxpayers, and I don't know exactly what this is all about. And I ask a pardon that I have just given my current schedule. I haven't been able to delve into this like I would have liked to. But what I don't know what the Eagle Senior Citizen Center is.
So my understanding, and Commissioner Laciando can weigh in on this as well. By statute, this board can support the Area Agency on Aging, and they have supported the Area Agency on Aging. But that was typically counties. All 10 counties in Southwest Idaho were together and pooling up a certain amount of money every year that went to the Area Agency on Aging. Then it was doled out and combined with funds that come in through the federal government, that come into the state. And in the office of the governor is the Office on Aging. And so that's how it functioned for years, I think for probably 25, 30 years. And then it changed, the format changed about 2 years ago, right before we came on. And so counties now pay a very nominal fee to the Area Agency on Aging. That nominal fee, I believe, is less than $100. It's very small amount. And instead now, the counties are paying to support the citizens, the senior centers that provide they provide meals, congregate meals. They're offering, I think, their centers now for some medical folks to come on once in a while and do some checks like that. They provide really important and valuable services to our seniors in our rural communities. But the model has really drastically changed, and I think if you want to dig into that change and how we're doing it now would probably take some time. But just for your edification, it's not just Eagle Senior Center. We have, I believe, 5 senior centers that function in the same way.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, where the county used to operate as a county these services, it seems to have been dispersed now out to the municipalities as they have grown. Would that be a fair assessment?
Not really. It's more complicated than that. It's more of a, it's just more of the model changed in how the money flows through the hands, and the counties are still very much involved. But the counties didn't run the services before. They were mainly flow through and did the grants and sort of provided oversight for the contractors. Okay. So it is a little complicated, but it equates to about the same amount of money.
Okay. Not something I need to majorly object to, but I was uncertain about it, and I wanted to at least have a little discussion on the record. And with that, I'm fine with a block agreement motion.
Okay, you want to go ahead and make that motion?
Sure, Madam Chair, I move to approve the 28 agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
Second. We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, the ayes have it, motion carries. I noticed that Tony did join us. I should have asked Tony, was there anything? Maybe he went away now. He was up there if he wanted to comment on any of these agreements. A few of them were with the Public Defender's Office. Are you with us still, Tony?
I am.
Okay, anything that you'd like to comment on? Is that why you joined us? I wasn't sure.
I'm sorry I joined late. They told us not to join until we needed to, and you went way faster than I expected. So yeah, I would just like the board to know the grant from the Public Defense Commission is less this year than it typically has been. There are a couple of reasons for that, most of which seems to be based around the fact that I saved some money. I set aside some money, and I think the Public Defense Commission didn't like that. So they reduced the grant to Ada County commensurate with how much I had saved in the bank. So we have a fundamental kind of disagreement about what's prudent in terms of spending that money. Apparently they want me to spend it all in order for me to get a full allotment next year. I disagree with that. So we're going to have a conversation with the Public Defense Commission about that. They also have some concerns about the grant allotment across the state being reduced significantly because of budget constraints, et cetera. So what was usually a $1.34 million award for our grant is now a $1.04 million. It's not catastrophic. We can still support the employees that we pay out of that grant, and we can still go forward with the deli expansion, but I did want the commission to know that there are still some issues with the grant application process. They change it regularly. It's difficult. It seems like the evolution hasn't particularly been a good one. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but the grant is 1.04 this year instead of the 1.34, and I've explained the reasons why. I'm pretty unhappy about that. But I'd also like to take the opportunity to give the auditor's office a shout out for helping us with this, as they do every year. They're great to work with.
Right. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Commissioner Lachando?
So, thank you for that explanation, Tony. I think, this is yet another thing we're going to need to flag for our lobbyists as well as IAC as the legislature again contemplates what they would like to do around property taxes. This is a statutorily mandated service that we provide, and there are standards that we're being held to provide public defense. These grants are intended to offset property taxes, but this has always been our concern, right? That if the grants fluctuate, go away, et cetera, and we've hired physicians, that it's property taxpayers who are on the hook for backfilling it. So there's this fundamental disconnect between what the legislature is saying on the one hand, they don't want us to raise property taxes, and yet the way they operate or the way the state operates in terms of these types of activities is in conflict with that. So just for the record, I think that we need to, engage IAC and probably our lobbyists around this issue.
Tony, any further comments?
No, I'll just, well, yes, briefly, they are changing their leadership. As you know, Chair Bowles is stepping down, and I have not yet heard who his replacement will be. So we'll engage in conversations with the new chair of the commission, whoever that is, and I'll certainly include you commissioners in that conversation.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Have we heard when Chair Bowles' last day is?
Well, it was supposed to be last month, but he's still there. And I think he's committed to being there until his replacement is found.
Okay, great. Good to know. I might reach out to him then before he makes his exit and let him know that we really appreciate his service. He's done a great job, and we're going to miss him.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you weighing in, giving us that additional info. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to procurement, opening of RFP 20071. We have Bob Perkins with us.
Hi, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Before you this morning, we have the opening of RFP 20071, commissary services for the Ada County Sheriff's Office. And Jacob has shared his screen with you. And we received two proposals for this project, and if you would be so kind as to read these into the record.
Aramark Correctional Services, LLC is the first one, and the second is Keefe Group. I believe that's Keefe. Yeah, it is.
It is.
Okay, and would you like some time?
Yes, the evaluation team will need some time to evaluate the proposals, and we request that this be tabled for final ranking and award consideration to the September 8th, 2020 open business meeting.
Okay. Anyone care to make that motion?
Sure, Madam Chair, I move to table final ranking and award recommendation for RFP 20071, commissary services for the Ada County Sheriff's Office to September 8th, 2020.
Great. I'll need a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, ayes have it. Motion carries. Thanks, Bob.
Great, thanks.
That eye's a little late there, buddy. All right, let's move.
We're having an open business meeting plus third grade, so.
Hey, it all works. It all works. All right, let's go ahead and we'll move on to miscellaneous. And this is a motion for reconsider of definition and decision of project 202000301-AC-A, Tom Moore. And this is the one where the director made the decision, and then this board overturned the director's decision in development services. And the applicant here is asking us not to change the decision, but is asking us to change the definition of a term. And in my opinion, I don't really think that this is the proper channel to go through. I think that if a definition is to be changed, it's a perfect opportunity with development services for this applicant to work with development services and give his input as we rework our code and we rewrite our code. This would be great timing for that. So any questions from the commissioners, or would we like Richard or Jason to say a few words about this?
Sure, if Development Services wants to explain the technical aspect of why this needs to be denied the way it's presented.
Okay, Jason or Richard?
Yeah, Jason's got this.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, Madam Chair. So the issue that this reconsideration presents is that the
Jason,
applicant is asking.
Jason, you're gonna need to speak up. We can't hear you very well.
Okay, let me adjust my mic maybe. Is that better?
No. Can you turn the volume up a little bit?
All right, how about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
It's better but distorted. It's louder but distorted. I don't know what you'd need to do, but that's.
You need a new mic.
I need a new mic.
You need a new mic.
Madam Chair, that's fine. I mean, I think in the motion itself, it kind of explains that it's just the improper mechanism for the remedy that Tom Moore is seeking. Right. And so for that reason, it would need to be denied by the board.
No, I agree, based on the comments I made earlier. Commissioner Lachiondo, you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I would just add to that, if we were to approve this for reconsideration, essentially the applicant or particular applicant would lose out on the decision that actually went in his favor in the first place. So it's really not the proper channel. And as you noted earlier, he has some different avenues to work with development services around making changes.
And we know Development Services is very open and willing to work with Mr. Moore and to work with anyone and engage anyone in the public, especially during this process, as we're openly and actively asking for feedback and engagement from the public on our code, rewrite of our code. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, am I unmuted? Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, great. Let's see. I'm going to move to deny this reconsideration because I do not believe this to be the proper mechanism to add or amend the Ada County Code. Therefore, I move, based on our discussion and the information in the record, to deny the reconsideration.
Okay, I'll need a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right, that concludes our agenda for today. Any further discussion or comments? All righty then, we'll go ahead and adjourn, and we're going to immediately get back on, and we're going to reconvene for our Emergency Medical Services District meeting. Thanks, everybody. See you right back here. All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, and the time is 9:48 a.m. 2020. The Board of Ada County Commissioners is in session to meet as a board for the Emergency Medical Services District. We have all three commissioners with us. Also with us, we have Richard Beck, Steve Rutherford, Jason Bowles, Elizabeth Duncan, and Sean Rain. Any changes to this agenda, Madam Clerk?
No, they're not.
All right. We're going to go ahead then and take up volunteer board appointments. Commissioner Lachiondo, do you want to take it this time?
Sure. So just to note, these are, if you're paying attention, the same people who we appointed to the Development Impact Fee. And because we gavel in and we sit as a separate board of EMS, we have to do it over on this side of the house as well. But it's our intention that this will be a joint advisory committee for both impact fees within the other realms besides EMS.
Okay.
But unless there's further discussion, I will go ahead and move to approve the 5 volunteer board appointments as listed on the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion to second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next, we're going to go into new business, and I'm going to open the public hearing on resolution number 2543, and this is for sole source for the American Heart Association course completion cards. We have testimony here. Provide testimony or comments, and it looks like we have Director Sean Rain here.
Yes, Madam Chair. We get all of our CPR and advanced cardiac life support and pediatric advanced life support cards directly from the American Heart Association. A few years ago, we were able to get those from a variety of different sources, and they went to hosting those cards solely with the AHA. So that was a change a few years ago.
Any questions for Sean? Okay, I'll go ahead and
No, I
entertain.
remember this one.
Patrick, you want to go ahead and make the motion? And I'll close
Sure,
the
Madam
public
Chair,
hearing.
I move to approve resolution number 2543 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have, I'm going to open the public hearing on resolution 2544, sole source contract for Zoll Data Systems. This is demographic verification and insurance discovery services, whatever that means, Sean. Public testimony.
Yes, Madam Chair. So this is a software that we have used for a few years now that allows our billing office to go and get correct demographic information on patients that we've seen and verify that that's correct. And what makes this unique is it's software that interfaces directly with our emergency health reporting software. And it's the only vendor out there that's doing that currently. So
Great. I remember that discussion. Yeah. Any
And
questions?
I assume this, Madam Chair, I assume this is necessary for billing purposes to verify they are or are not in fact residents of the county or whatever, and how the insurances kick in that way.
Patrick?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Malloy, basically what this allows our billing office to do is make sure that we have correct demographic. We will often scan a driver's license, but as you know, people change their address and things like that. So the better information that we have on the front end means that we get the revenue through the door on the back end with less hassles for the patient when they get a bill that is sent to the wrong address or what have you. So
very good. Okay.
Any further testimony? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Patrick, you care to make the motion?
Sure, Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution 2544 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, guys have it. Motion carries. All righty. Next up, we have claims journal, and I'll need a motion on the claims journal.
Madam Chair, I move to authorize payment of claims as listed on the claims journal dated August 21st, 2020 regarding EMS expenditures.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, ayes have it. Motion carries. Next, we have 3 agreements. Agreement number 13853. This is Fisher Document Systems. It looks like a copier. And then we have 13854. This is another copier from Fisher Documents. And then we have 13861. And this looks like it's Faces a Hope Foundation for Victims of Domestic Violence, a memorandum of understanding. I think we've had discussions around this, so no further discussion is necessary. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the 3 agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have under miscellaneous, we have the North Ada County Fire and Rescue Standard of Cover Study Discussion. Sean, care to weigh in on this?
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you. Madam Chair, Commissioners, so I have to go back probably about a year with Boise Fire, and the discussion really centered around the idea of what to do with Northwest Boise. And so as the plans went forward with Boise Fire, what they were trying to do, and they still have plans to do, is to build a new station on Gary Lane. It's about halfway between Hill Road and Glenwood on the east side of the road. There's a vacant parcel there. So that's the original plan that they had. The way they were going to fund that was partially through NACFR's funds and partially through Boise. Specifically, they were looking at co-staffing, so a shared resource between the city of Boise and NACFR as far as personnel went. And the original agreement also had the rolling stock, so the fire engine, the brush truck, that type of thing would be purchased by NACFR. So as that discussion carried forward with the NACFR board, there was some question as to whether or not they would shut down engines or Station 16, which is right next to our Medic 2-3 station there on Glenwood, and then move that station farther north. And so that's kind of where this whole thing started. So NACFR actually commissioned the standard of cover study through what's called Emergency Services Consulting International. That agency has done standard of covers here before. And so concurrently, the city of Boise jumped on while they were out here to do a standard of cover for the city of Boise at the same time. From my knowledge, one hadn't been done for about 10 years. And so what a standard of cover really is just a deployment analysis to kind of simplify things, just to really take a snapshot in time and say, here's where we have all of our assets deployed, personnel deployed, and how we respond as, you know, when I say we, it's not really we now, but Boise City and NACFR, how they deploy and how they respond to the emergencies within their district. So that was the first piece of it. The second piece for NACFR was also a study to see contractually if they're still getting their money's worth out of the contract with Boise City. As you know, Boise City provides the personnel for NACFR, and they reimburse them for that personnel coverage. And so in speaking with Acting Chief Romeo Gervais and Deputy Chief Brad Bolin, they don't anticipate any big changes coming out of this standard of cover study from NACFR. One thing that NACFR really wanted to do is they would like to be able to keep Station 16 open in addition to the city's new station on Gary Lane, at the same time reopening Station 18, which is the one I believe it's at 38th and Chinden, where we currently have an ambulance station there also. In speaking with Brad Bolin this morning, the preliminary results look like they probably won't be able to do both. And so, you know, I think that they'll probably end up looking at co-staffing the new station on Gary Lane, but obviously that's a decision for NACFR's board. But that's kind of where they're at. They haven't received the full formal study back from ESCI yet, so they're still waiting on that. I think there was a third question that was kind of looming out there is what they would do with Station 20, which is the station out in Hidden Springs. And that's a tough one. One of the things that I was trying to do as the EMS chief when I was with the city of Boise was look at ways that we could deploy some assets out there, specifically automatic defibrillators in conjunction with our pulse point system. We have a number of healthcare providers that live out there that we could verify as responders in pulse point and actually issue them an AED so that they would get notified of that emergency out there, and at least that resource would be there to help those cardiac arrest victims. I don't believe, just knowing from my knowledge of the financial situation with NACFR, I don't believe they're going to be able to put staff up at Station 20 anytime soon, unfortunately. We did, going back several years ago, Ada County had an agreement with NACFR, and we had some of our volunteers. We had several volunteers that actually lived in Hidden Springs, and we tried to staff that station as best we could with those folks out there for a number of years. But their call volume is so low that, you know, people just eventually they would kind of fade out from the volunteerism, or they would try to get more involved on this side of the foothills, and get more into the response within the county proper. And so I don't know what other questions you have, Madam Chair, but I would certainly be happy to answer anything that you guys would.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner?
So, less of a question, and well, I do have one question, but more of a kind of request and a comment. We haven't yet engaged you in this, Sean, just because you've been getting your feet under you in a new-ish role, and there's plenty of work to go around. But we had engaged Steve Boyinger and crew really significantly in the work that we did really last fall and the beginning of the winter around the growth conversations, and especially highlighting that our response time for EMS can be quite significantly different out to other areas. And we're sort of, we're living with the land use decisions of years past, but I personally have a lot of heartburn around county taxpayers, people in certain parts of the county paying the same rate as other people, but getting less of a response time. And that's something that we're having to grapple with. So I need to make sure you guys, we took the 3% for you. It's a whole lot. But I think we're going to be looking to you, or at least I am, to be a strong voice as we have those conversations with our fellow cities around land use patterns, because it's a lot harder for us to respond than it is for us to be active in how those comprehensive plans and annexations take place on the front end. So that's more of a comment. The question on the back end is, I'm a broken record, but silver linings of COVID are that we're learning to do lots of new things. And it was really exciting, the co-staffing that went on the, forget what you guys called that thing, the whatever rig. And, and I guess I'm just interested, I don't know what you can share in terms of what kind of appetite there is to perpetuate that even without COVID.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Laxiando, it's a discussion that we were having, at least at Boise Fire, about co-staffing an ambulance just to provide more service and get more exposure and experience for the paramedics in the fire department. So I know that Boise Fire has some appetite for that. I've had some preliminary conversations with Chief Lewis out at Eagle Fire about doing something similar to that up in the Avamore areas. That area continues to grow at co-staffing, just so that we can share the resources that we have and kind of maximize that capability. And we have a limited number of resources, so I believe there is some appetite for that. Some of the conversations I've had with Chief Niemeyer out in Meridian, as far as he's got 2 new stations coming in, I believe, in the next few years. And so we were looking at some different options for staffing an ambulance out in those areas, because there's just a reality that the call volume takes quite a while to catch up from a development going in. And, I think places where we can do that kind of thing makes a lot of sense. And I think everybody's coming to acknowledge that.
Thank you, Sean. Commissioner Malloy, any comments or questions?
No, nothing from me. Thank you.
Okay, I see we have Steve Rutherford on with us. So I guess this has been 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, but I received a phone call from a gentleman who works for the consulting firm, and it was sort of out of the blue, and he started asking me questions, and I was not really prepared as a sole commissioner to answer questions, the type of questions that he was asking. So I emailed back and wanted them to give us some context and to send something that all of us could take a look at. And it was during the time when we were transitioning in EMS. And so, Steve, I know that you looked at those questions as well, and you and I had conversations around that. Did those questions get over to Sean for him to provide input? I should have circled back probably sooner, but this has dropped off my plate.
Madam Chair, I don't believe they did. I had conversations about Sean, or with Sean, but I don't believe I sent him those questions. But if I can unearth those from over here, I will get them to Sean.
Okay, that would be great. If it's not too late, we can provide our input as well. I think there were only like 4 questions that they were asking. But perhaps they've already reached out to you, Sean, the consultants from this firm.
Not in my current role,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Okay, we'll unearth those, as Steve said, and get those over. All right, any further discussions? All right, I don't think we need a motion on the miscellaneous. Do we? Nope, I don't think we do. So I think, hearing no further discussion, we're gonna go into recess, and then we're gonna come right back on the record, and we're gonna come back as the Board of County Commissioners, setting also as the Board of Emergency Medical Services District for a joint open business meeting. So we're gonna be able to wear 2 hats at the same time. So meeting adjourned. Stay tuned.
The record.
All right, good morning, everyone. We're back on the record. This is the Board of Ada County Commissioners in a joint open business meeting with setting also as the Board of Emergency Medical Services District. So we're wearing 2 hats on this one. It is August 25th, and the time is 10 a.m., 10:05 a.m. And I have both commissioners on bridge with me. In addition, we have Jason Bull, Development Services, Richard Beck, same, and Sean Rain, Director of EMS, and Steve Rutherford. So with that, any changes to this agenda, Madam Clerk?
No, there are not.
Okay, we're going to go jump into new business, and I'm going to open the public hearing on Resolution 2547. 2547 is, we'll need a motion, I think, for both. This is a joint resolution between Ada County and Ada County EMS Services District, establishing a joint development impact fee advisory board. Any comments or any testimony on this before? Anyone care to comment?
I know this was, Madam Chair, I know this was legally convoluted, but it's just simpler. You know, we did the interviews for the impact fee board. You know, if we were sitting a completely separate board, have to do all those, another group of interviews again, then those 2 groups would have to meet together and discuss the overlay and overbranch. So rather than, just as this board sits for both, we are having this commission sit for both out of both expediency and process.
And so we don't drive Jason Bowles crazy. It makes it a lot easier. Commissioner Laciando, any comments you'd like before we close the public hearing? Well, let's see if Jason wants to say a few words during the public testimony comment time. Jason, anything you'd like to add?
Is my mic working better now?
It's so-so.
All right. No, I appreciate you meeting and going through this. As was mentioned, it is a bit of a convoluted process, but we're excited to have these people on board to work with the county as we develop the impact fee ordinance and studies. So the project is moving along, and we're really excited about the individuals that you've selected to be on the board.
Thank you, Jason. And if you wouldn't mind, get with Luke, and he'll get you, he said he's going to get you a new mic, external mic.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, any further comments or testimony? All right, hearing none, we're going to close the public hearing. Commissioner Laciando, care to make a comment and a motion?
Okay, Madam Chair, I want to make sure I have this correct. I will move, sitting as the Ada County Board of Commissioners, to approve resolution number 2547 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye, those have it. Motion carries. I believe that's all we need on that one. We need another motion. Yeah. Okay.
Now we have to move as
Yeah,
the
now we have
EMS
to move,
district.
so we need another motion. Commissioner Laciando.
Yes, for the general public, we just so you know, we're doing this the right way, but it looks a little odd. Okay. Madam Chair, I move, sitting as the Board of Ada County Emergency Medical Services District, to approve resolution number 2547 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor state aye.
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 Aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. You good, Annie? All right. Yay. Any further discussion then? As the joint board, Hearing none, we're going to go into recess and we're going to reconvene with legal to go into executive session. So stay tuned. Meeting adjourned.